Hello everybody, and welcome back to the testimony of Trixie Glimmer Smith. Now, I am recording these back to back, so everything's all fresh in my mind. In the last episode, we explored the abandoned house that once belonged to a very not nice sheep. And, we found what happened to the squirrel, Mr. and Mrs. Squirrel. I don't know their actual names, but I don't know if they have actual names in this universe. Squirrel Girl's parents, their skulls were there, and they became the King in Yellow's abomination. As we mentioned the name, they, began to break, which is very strange to me. But, the floating skulls thing, that wasn't strange. It was the fact that they broke, yeah. Good job, May. But after that, we passed out and woke up in the field with a sheep staring at us because we all love sheep. But next to us, we had the book. The playbook, the King in Yellow book. After that, we just kind of chilled in a field for a moment in the middle of the night, like you do. We came back to our room and passed the heck out. Then when we woke up, we saw that Nikita is actually a dictator, and she is campaigning a quote-unquote 5-year plan, even though it's a 5-point plan, or whatever. She's taking power away from all of her fellow council members, which is great. She's not gonna get elected, but if she is, that's... sounds like a dictator to me. Anywho, Nikita is now... well, we assume Nikita is at our door now. There was a sudden knock at my door. Trixie Glimmer Smith, stop writing weird Maserotica and open up! I slammed my laptop shut. I still don't know if she was spying on me or it was a lucky guess. Coming! I threw some old underwear behind my bed in a vain attempt to seem less disgusting and lurched over to the door. I opened it up and Nikita marched into my room, almost knocking me over. Jeez. Hi, Nikita. You have the book? Nice to see you too. Cut the crap, Trixie. Where's the play? Fine, whatever. But look, we need to talk about some stuff, okay? Some weird shit happened when I was finding this. I rummaged around in my bag for the book, eventually pulling out the scaled yellow tome. Wow. It's really real. For once, Nikita seemed almost speechless. She walked over to me, seeming unable to wait to get a hold of it. I handed it over, but a part of me wanted to keep it for myself, if just for its value. Nikita was about to undo the ribbon and leaf through its pages, but my hand on it stopping her. She shot me an angry look and almost pulled away. Nikita, seriously, we need to talk. I told her everything I remembered about yesterday. My time exploring Daffodil Lane, the missing squirrels, the abandoned cottage, the skulls, the ghost, waking up in a field. I told her I didn't even know where the play had come from. Nikita, I think we need to talk to someone. The police, maybe. There were skulls in that basement. This isn't just some silly thing. Oh, cat. Well, he's joining me for episode 3. He skipped 2, but he decided he wanted to be a part of 3. Trixie, those skulls were obviously props. You said yourself there's an artist on that road. They always do weird shit like that. And no offense, but the options are either 1, you saw a ghost, or 2, you, the person who reads ghost porn all day, were sleep-deprived and dehydrated, overheating and breathing mold spores, and imagined a ghost when you saw some spooky props. Then you forgot half the day and fainted in a field after finding the play in the cottage. It was a good point, but I still felt unsure. Alright, so this is where we save. Peeve. Alright, so this is one choice. Question is, which one are we doing first? Let's call the police. No! Shut up, Nikita. There were real skulls in that place. I'm phoning the police. I just won't mention the weird stuff. This is serious. It's more important than some dumb story. Nikita's lip visibly curled when I described the King in Yellow as a dumb story. Fine, whatever. Phone the police, but when you get arrested for breaking and entering, don't cry to me on the phone from your jail cell. I was pretty certain she was bluffing. I wouldn't get in trouble for that, right? I dialed the number for the police on my phone, and after a brief wait, an operator picked up. Hi, yes, I'd like to report a, suspicious house on Daffodil Lane. The creepy one, yeah, by the woods. Uh-huh. Right. I mean, there were skulls in it. Yeah. No, skulls. I saw some blood, too. What, seriously? Of course you have the budget to investigate it. You're like the police. It might be important. What about those missing squirrels that literally live 50 feet away? Uh-huh. Right. Ugh. See, this is why no one likes Oh. They'd hung up. I looked back to Nikita. Her expression was as sour as it had been when I started, but she seemed significantly smugger. Apparently they don't have the budget to reinvestigate the squirrels, and they wrote the abandoned cottage off because no one could live in a place with air that full of hallucinogenic spores. I paused for a moment, considering how that could explain the ghost. Which doesn't make me feel great about breaking in it for so long yesterday. There, I told you it was pointless. Now, just keep it to yourself and I'll help you with your coursework again. Once I finish reading the play, naturally. Is that a deal, Smith? I felt wrong for not trying harder to get the police to check out that cottage. I knew it was selfish of me to ignore what might have been a huge deal, but I needed Nikita's help. I couldn't face the idea of going back to my parents after fucking up my education and not talking to them for months. I let out an audible sigh. Whatever, as long as we're even now. Of course we are. I never lie. I wasn't sure I believed that. Well, I'm off to read this. I do appreciate your service, Trixie, as much as I hate to admit it. I'll draft your coursework for you in a day or two. You have to finish it yourself, though. I'm not your mother. Nikita was being uncharacteristically nice. Maybe she was warming up to me? Anyway, you should get some sleep. You look like shit. Or not. I thought Nikita... Or not, I thought as Nikita marched out of my room. The King in Yellow clutched tightly against her chest. Thanks, Nikita. I stumbled back into my bed. Nikita was exhausting. A buzzing woke me up a few hours later. Someone was calling me. I was groggy and confused, so no different to normal. I reached for my phone, and through my blurry eyes, I could make out Heidi's name on the screen. Oh, boy. Hey, you owe me a job. I stopped when a bit of drool fell out of my mouth. I've never been good with naps. Hey. I need you to come to my shop at like 5 today. Don't bug out now. You owe me for that crowbar, remember? I did owe her, and it wasn't like I had anything else to do. Besides, it would be good to get outside and distract myself for a while, even if I should have to be working on my report. Okay, I'll help. Good. My shop at 7. Don't be late, I have a taser. Wait, oh, okay. Everyone's so rude to me. I curled back up in bed. I was still pretty tired. I had half a day to kill until Heidi needed me, and I didn't want to sit here stewing on my thoughts that day. Yesterday had fucked me up pretty badly, whether I wanted to show it or not. I'd found a coupon for a free bottle of sugar rabies in my sock drawer a few weeks back, so I figured since I had nothing else to do, I could head to town and use it. We're gonna see Greg? Anyway, the shopkeeper let slip that the only reason Sugar Core was giving the stuff away for free was because anyone who drank a can lost an average of 3 teeth. So no one was buying it anymore. I guess they were hoping people would risk a bottle for free and end up hooked on its dubiously legal chemicals. I knew better than to wrangle with that since I don't have that many teeth, being a rat and all. Fucking capitalists. My phone's clock said it was almost midday, and I hadn't really eaten yet. I figured I'd combine breakfast and lunch. I decided to call this new meal lunch fast. You mean brunch? My thoughts were cut off when a familiar figure tapped on the window next to me. I recognized Greg. It is a sugar glider! I love sugar gliders. I used to have one. They're little floof babies. Watch him eat my liver. I recognized Greg, the small sugar glider from yesterday. I'd wandered past their bakery without realizing it. I guess my subconscious was telling me to get lunch fast at Greg's. It's called brunch. Hi, Greg. Hey, Trixie. Are you here for some tasty treats? Yeah, I guess so. I looked around at the selection. Why is there pizza? I probably commented on that last time, but there's just a bunch of pastries and pizza. I looked around at the selection. The triple chocolate muffin I'd eaten yesterday had been really nice. I did kind of want to try something new, though. A vegetable roll? We're gonna get the muffin. A vegetable roll would be nice. I need to keep an eye on my sugar intake. I didn't get to read that, but all of the vegetable rolls come with a muffin for just 20-something more. Yes. Greg scurried back behind the counter and placed the food into a little paper bag. Fortunately, I'd remembered to bring my wallet today. It's nice to see you again. Sorry the bakery was so busy yesterday. Could see it was making you anxious. It's a lot calmer today. The fact that 2 customers were considered busy made me feel slightly bad for Greg. Was the bakery not doing well? Oh, no problem. Sorry for being weird yesterday. It was kind of hot and I'd already fainted once, and I get anxious about buying stuff. Oh no! I hope you're feeling better today. I just slipped into the parsnip voice. Here, have a bottle of water in the house. That should stop you fainting again. I felt bad accepting something for free given my suspicions about Greg's financial situation. Oh, no, that's okay. I'll live. No hiking in the sun for me today. Okay, well, the offer's there. I wouldn't want any of my friends fainting. Their friendliness almost reminded me of parsnip. I called it. Anywho, though thankfully, Greg seemed to be capable of conversations and had an actual personality. You seem like cakes, Trixie. Do you make any yourself? I shook my head. I don't really do much baking, or cooking in general, really. I basically just eat snacks and drink energy drinks. I probably have 4 years left to live. Oh no, I hope not! Don't you like cooking? I don't mind cooking, but I have kind of a short attention span, so my food usually ends up burnt. That was a slight understatement. The fire brigade had... Brigade? That was a slight understatement. The fire brigade had been called twice since I started uni, thanks to me. I used to bake bread with my parents when I was younger, but we kind of stopped at some point when I got older. Oh, that's so sad. I used to bake with my dad a lot. It was really fun. It's probably why I ended up being a baker. You know, I could always use some help here. I could teach you to bake treats. It was a really kind offer. I did want to learn baking, even if it was just another way to fuel my sugar addiction. Oh geez, that's really kind. I feel like I'd just waste your time, though. I'm a bit of a fuck-up, and you probably don't need that when you're already having money trouble. I trailed off. Greg seemed to see where I was going. I was worried I'd upset him, but they seemed to hide it. If you don't feel up to it, don't worry. I know tomorrow morning probably won't be very busy, though, so feel free to come along if you change your mind. I did like the idea, and Greg was really sweet. Thanks, Greg. I'll think about it. Sorry, I'm kind of a mess right now. It's been a tough few days. Weeks. Years. No worries. Just let me know if you're coming along. Would you like my number? I'd talk some more, but I have to make a delivery in a few minutes. They motioned towards a wedding cake. A lovely icing statue of 2 cute mice girls kissing sat on top. Oh, sure, yeah. Greg passed me a business card. Great, thanks, Trixie. I better close up. I'll see you soon. See you, Greg. We get to bake with the sugar glider. Somebody told me I should go that route. But I think I'm gonna end up naturally going that route anyway. Just because I love Greg. However, I wouldn't mind going to the gay bar with the cow. I hope that's not... I don't have to choose one of those. And not both. Anywho, I waved goodbye and left the bakery munching on my food. I expected Belle would be at the Attic Mouse bar down the road, and I figured I may as well give her a visit to waste some time before I met Heidi later. Hey! I called it! Belle is my favorite character. Heidi and Greg are tied for second, I think. I don't know why I like Greg so much. If just to show I wasn't ignoring her offer about being invited. Okay. The Attic Mouse had a warm, friendly atmosphere, and I was relieved to see their drinks were super cheap. By bar standards, at least. I walked inside and found it was pretty quiet. Understandable, really, given the time of day. Belle was sat in the corner by herself with several glasses of alcohol in front of her. I'm not really into alcohol, so I dropped 10 on the bar to pay for my pint of cola and walked over to her. Hey. Hey, Trixie. Nice to see you come along. Sadly, no one else has. Well, we pre-ordered the drinks, so more for me, I guess. She downed one of her shots. Oh, I mean, I'm not good with groups anyway. Do a lot of people usually show up? Well, there's Greg, who you've met, my pal Rose, and ours down Daffodil Laneway. Wait, I know LaRose. The tall rabbit, right? Huh? No way. Nice lady. She hasn't turned up recently, though. She's, well, she ain't been feeling great recently. It's hard for her to find the energy to hang out, you know? There's also Heidi. She's cool. A little scary, but a great gal. She runs a shop here in town. Yeah, I met her yesterday, too. She's more than a little scary, though. the taser. She's all bark and no bite. Doesn't get on so well with LaRose. They almost ended up glassing each other a few weeks back when Heidi said neo-punk biker art was better than neo-punk bohemian art. I don't know what either of those are, so I didn't think it was my place to mediate, you know? Jeez. It's weird how I met literally all of you by chance yesterday. That is weird. We all know each other, and now we all know you too. She took another sip of her drink. I copied her and sipped my cola. I felt a little awkward and just ended up staring at the TV in the corner for a bit. The Prime Minister was giving a speech about sheep... Huh? How do you pronounce a P and an X together? Sheepsit? 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 I don't... It's not a word! It's not a word! I rolled my eyes. I was getting pretty tired of hearing about it non-stop for the last 2 years. This is getting ridiculous. Leaving the Northwest Union just because its official sheep mascot bit the Prime Minister's 4-year-old? It's so petty. Exactly. If she didn't want her kid getting bit, she shouldn't have let her roll around in the grass, then go pet a sheep. We both shook our heads and tutted. So, you're like a milkwoman, right? That sounds kind of fun, driving around and seeing places all over. I don't get out much, so... Nah, it sucks. Oh. Not much traveling either anymore, I'm afraid. Oh, of course. When you were talking to Greg yesterday, you said you only go to the North Acres now, right? North Acres. Yeah. Nasty place. Why? She squinted at me quizzically. Oh, it's just, like, I study local history and stuff. North Acres is meant to be really good for that, right? It's kinda old-fashioned and remote, despite only being a few miles from town. I've wanted to take a look around there, but it's kind of hard to get to. I couldn't find any buses that go that way, and no way am I paying for a taxi. No, I can't. Ugh. Yeah, they shoot down every proposal for a bus route. I think I might be the only outside interaction they get besides the postman. They're a weird lot. I try not to spend too much time there. She shrugged and took another drink. But hey,
if you want to have a peep around there, you're welcome to come along tomorrow morning. No, I have to choose between Belle and Greg like I predicted. It's not fair. What's going on in the afternoon, eh?
Oh, wow. I mean, if it isn't an issue?
Not at all. I could use the company. Not much to do on the job, and the boss says if he catches me reading magazines at the wheel again, he'll fire me.
Belle's phone buzzed. She took a look at it and sighed.
Ugh, speaking of the great dictator, I gotta get going. Apparently the sheep have escaped from Daffodil Lane. Probably that kid opened the gate because it looked sad being closed again.
She shook her head and downed the rest of her drink. I suspected I knew who she was talking about. Oh no. I better stick around. I still have some stuff to do in town.
Well, feel free to shoot me a message tomorrow morning if you're up for a really dull adventure.
She chuckled and added her number to my phone. Wow, everyone really wants to hang out with me. If this were a lame dating game, I'd assume they'd wanted to get in my pants. Fortunately, I keep my life very PG. Wait, what? Wait, she was just reading or writing monster erotica. What do you... PG my butt! I wasn't sure how much I believed that, given recent events, but the slight hope nothing involving Nikita and her stupid play would escalate beyond comic mischief and some rude language was reassuring.
I don't play enough video games to get that joke, but haha, sure.
I hadn't meant to say that out loud.
Anyway, I better get going. See you around, Trix.
She strolled off as calm as ever. I finished my drink and sat around for a while. Glad today has been full of distractions, I still wasn't ready to think about yesterday's events. Eventually, I knew it was time to head to Heidi's as the sound of a taser plays in my ears. I didn't want to be late. She apparently had a taser. I have to admit, I was slacking on my way to Heidi's shop, drinking a pint of cola right before walking. It wasn't a great decision on my part. Sorry, I'm late. I'm here now. Please don't tase me.
Ah, Trixie. I was about to call you. Good. Thank you for coming. I was worried you might be a deal breaker. And then I would have to tase you.
I don't think that was a joke. Why do you have a taser anyway? Is that even legal?
Probably. It's for self-defense, right? And good company on lonely nights. Oh, okay. Enough screwing around. We have a lot of work to do.
She bundled me into her office. It was pretty small and completely cluttered with cardboard boxes.
Okay, Trixie. You're gonna have to help me with my side business spring cleaning. We're gonna go through these boxes and sort the junk into these two much larger boxes. This is the stuff to be burned box. She kicked a generic wooden crate soaked in petrol. I chose not to question her health and safety practices and just tried to avoid breathing too much. And this is the stuff that might actually be worth money box.
She tapped a sturdy metal safe. Okay, so what kind of stuff are we sorting through? Like extra stock or what?
Just like old antiques and books. Nothing too important. Let's just get on with it, okay? I want to close on time.
She dropped a cardboard box full of junk onto the desk in front of me. I started rooting through it and found it was full of trash. Mostly dusty books falling apart at the seams and broken old antiques. But the more I looked, the more it became clear some of this stuff might actually be valuable. I pulled a golden bracelet out of the box and blew the dust off of it. Engraved onto it was a strange fish-like face with a single opal eye that seemed to stare at me. Geez, how much money do you make selling this stuff? Heck, where do you even get this stuff in the first place? This looks expensive.
Heidi shot me an annoyed look. Don't question it.
So, a lot, and illegally. Got it. I chuckled to myself. Heidi seemed unamused. I carefully put the bracelet into the safe. As I sorted through the box, it became pretty clear that there was a theme to Heidi's stuff. It was all in some way arcane. Old magic books, spooky scrolls, and even what seemed to be occult apparel, like the bracelet I'd found earlier. Heidi, do you believe in any of this stuff? Monsters and magic, I mean? She looked at me for a moment, somewhat puzzled.
Of course not. I've never seen any monsters or magic.
But don't you ever get tempted to try out any of the spells in these books? I opened up one of the thick, dusty tomes and skimmed through it looking for an example. Before I could read anything, Heidi slammed it shut on my fingers. Hey, ow!
Okay, new rule. You don't look at anything for longer than it takes to work out if it's valuable. Got it?
I nodded.
No, I don't believe in this stuff, but... Look, I'd like to keep it that way, okay? I've met people who like this crap and it messes with their heads. This stuff is best left ignored, okay? Ignorance is bliss.
She got back to work. I envied her lack of belief. I hoped with enough time my brain could fully convince me that what I saw the night before was just a heat, dehydration, and spore-fueled hallucination. But I think even then I knew the truth. Heidi seemed to know that we were only inches from madness and intended to never test that distance. We sorted through the boxes for a while. Most of the stuff was pretty uninteresting, but a few things caught my eye. A copper amulet, a shard of amber with a strange ancient bug frozen inside of it, some long, distant ancestor to a modern bee, perhaps, a manuscript detailing a ritual to summon rain, and at one point a Dungeons and Fungeons rulebook with Heidi's name on it, which was quickly grabbed off of me and stuffed into Heidi's desk drawer. I was getting pretty bored. Some of the stuff looked really interesting, but I knew Heidi would snap at me if I tried to look into any of it. Fortunately, there was a sound outside. Someone had walked into the shop. Heidi slinked over to the peephole in her office door suspiciously.
Ah, it's a customer. Trixie, you take care of the stuff. I'll go deal with the schmuck.
She walked into the shop, snapping at the customer for looking at something too strangely before the door closed behind her. I picked up one of the last items in the box. A small book titled Spiral Speeches of the Star Gods. Most of it seemed to be missing, but there were a few pages left. It sounded kind of interesting.
Ooh. Alright, let me just in case. Read it.
I decided to use this chance and flick through the remnants of the book. Spiral Speeches of the Star Gods.
Across the world, hundreds of tablets etched with identical spirals have been uncovered by archaeological digs. Thanks to bird mythology, these are popularly known as the Star God tablets. Although, there has been much speculation around these strange artifacts. Anywho, I don't... The most obvious origin is clearly the humble sheep. Famously, every sheep has a near identical spiral on the right front hoof. A strange evolutionary quirk. These exactly match the spirals seen in the supposed Star God tablets. As the Star Gods were, without a doubt, entirely fictitious, the most obvious conclusion is that the ancient societies would use sheep to produce this strange art. Most likely, these etchings were painted when originally created, but any evidence of this has long faded with time. Of course, some old bird legends would suggest that sheep created these themselves by pressing their feet into wet clay and allowing it to harden. This would make sense if not for sheep showing no signs of the creativity needed to create such art, let alone the intelligence to produce clay tablets. That said, anyone who has seen the footprints of sheep can clearly agree that the process would be physically impossible for them, if unlikely. This may merely be a misinterpretation of the claim. It is entirely possible sheep were specially trained to perform this task, or had their hooves used as tools after death. Other bird legends describe the supposed star gods themselves creating these texts, hence their relevance to the tablets, though such stories are the realm of fantasy. Heidi's gonna walk in on us. We're taking an awfully long time to read. The largest discovery of these relics were found in the Ash Islands of Oceania, and would have fallen from the sky after being thrown into the air by the Great Dark Age cataclysm. This would make their original location the Siberian Wastes, the supposed home of the star gods. Nevertheless, this theory is ultimately The pages ended there. The book had seen better days. I thought of the strange spirals in the feet of sheep. How would that come to happen? It seemed too strange to be natural. I thought of the sheep in the field where I had come across the king in yellow, and the clumps of dirty wool in the abandoned cottage. I shuddered. Sheep were weird, but harmless. Something far more sinister was at play, surely. It had been an interesting read. I threw it into the trash box.
It wasn't long before Heidi was back.
Heh, sorry about that. Customers are a pain. Huh, you finished. Nice one.
She looked genuinely pleased with me.
You know, you didn't do a bad job.
She seemed to think for a moment.
Trixie, how would you like to help me out again? For money, I mean. Your crowbar debt is paid.
Oh, wow. I've never had a job before. Maybe? Do I have to choose between this tomorrow morning, too?
Ugh, I like all these characters. I'm gonna do them all.
I wanted to help Heidi, if just to satisfy my curiosity about her strange inventory. But I also wanted to hang out with Greg or Belle. I wasn't sure if there'd be time for that, too. Okay. Sorry, Heidi. I've got some other stuff going on right now.
Hey, no sweat, Trixie. You don't have to explain yourself. It ain't exactly the most exciting job in the world. Right, I better start closing up. Thanks for your help. I'll see you, Trixie.
I wished her a good evening and started the walk home to my bed. I could definitely use some sleep. I was walking past Wilbur Hall on my way to the bed when I noticed Nikita fumbling with the vending machine. She was trying to pull a bar of toffee millet out of the slot, but it seemed to be stuck. She gave the machine a frustrated kick and the snack fell out. As she picked it up, she noticed me watching her. Oh, hello, Trixie. I'm on my way back to my room, and I have to finish reading the... She seemed almost scared to say it.
The King in Yellow, yes, the King in Yellow.
Nikita seemed skittish. Her usually tidy clothing was scruffy. Her fur unbrushed and her eyes flew around the hallway frantically. Her constant fidgeting made her look eager to finish talking to me and get back to her room. It was like she'd just been for a spin in a tumble dryer full of caffeine. Are you okay, Nikita? You're kind of a mess. Have you been reading all day or something?
Yes, I have, all day.
Yes, last night too. Preliminary research. It has been an illuminating read thus far. I need to read a little more, but... Trixie... She grabbed me by the shoulders, pulling me close. I looked down at her scared eyes. I knew all too much about the reputation of the King in Yellow. I didn't want to believe it could have done this to Nikita, but this wasn't right.
Trixie, I need to make some notes, and, I need to double check. Read between the lines, but...
No, never mind. We can discuss this later, when I'm certain. She let go of me.
I better get back to my room. Yes. Good night, Trixie.
She did a sort of shaky fast walk away from me, towards the accommodation block. Bye, Nikita. I was scared. Could this really be in the work of that play? I shook my head. This had to be sleep deprivation. She'd barely slept in weeks with her campaign planning and coursework. And yet, I could remember how the book had drawn me to it when I held it. I'd wanted to pull the golden ribbon and read it myself. Regardless of its contents, the rumors around that cursed play were more than enough to make it maddening to behold. I didn't like Nikita, but I was genuinely worried about her health. I figured I'd let her finish reading and get some sleep, then I could always make sure she was okay in the morning. I eventually got back to my room and collapsed onto my bed. It had been a busy day. I was planning to muck about on my laptop until I got tired enough to sleep, but it was on my desk and I couldn't be bothered to get back out of bed. I remembered the book about ghosts I'd gotten a hold of a few weeks back. It was priced on the floor next to my bed. I remembered it being pretty tacky. Peering over the edge, I could see it was. After my sighting in the basement, I thought it might be relevant. If I was going to stay awake a little longer, I thought I might as well use my time productively. Before I could reach the book, my phone buzzed. Tabby had sent me a message. That was unexpected, but I didn't speak to Tabby often, which is sad because I kind of wish we were friends, but I didn't think she really noticed me.
And another episode will come to its close. I think this is
a fair place to leave it. On a bit of a cliffhanger, of course, but, when have you known me not to leave it on a cliffhanger? I am interested to know that if you could make any coin, like if you could redesign any coin, what coin would you redesign and what would you put on it? Leave your comment below. Yeah, thank you for watching, and, well, see ya!